Yo, 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 yo. What is up? What is up? I was in China this season. Interesting. All right, let me add this one last thing to e-news. All right. Hello, hello, hello. Everyone here? Yep. All right. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Hello and what is up? Welcome to episode 322 of the Center Ring Esports podcast presented by Alt. And this is going to be the best episode ever. We have e-news at the end of the show telling you all the little tidbits that you need to know, as well as a special edition of Yikes of the Week, because we are out for a week. We are going on vacation, both of us, not together, but in spirit. So we have a special Yikes to get to as well, and a handful of CS rumors and news to touch on and blast update. But before we get to any of that, let me tell you about the show's sponsor in altesports.com. If you listen to the show, you know exactly what I'm about to say, but they truly are the standard, I would say, in esports apparel. If you want a hoodie with actual crystals on it, they have that for you. You want a tie-dye hoodie? They have that for you. If you want a 100% original hoodie, created and designed by your very own TCR boys, they have that for you as well. You can pick all of it up at altesports.com and you let them know the Center Ring sent you.
Hey guys, it's Custer from the LA Valiant and you're listening to the Center Ring.
Okay, so let's start.
Hello, everybody. Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Center Ring, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast presented by Alt. Coming to you live and or pre-recorded from an undisclosed location. The date is 4/14/21, the time 8:49 p.m. Central Time. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at the Center Ring. Our Discord is in the description, as well as Patreon. So if you ever feel like supporting the show, if you enjoy it and you feel like you wanted to show us some love that way, perfect. You have that option. If not, and you still wanted to show us some love, you join the Discord and you let us know in there. That's really the best way. My name is Tim. I'll be your captain for this journey into esports, and alongside me, as always, is my best friend, my brown friend. It's Anuj.
Zoned out completely, dude. I was sitting here just thinking of vacation in a few days.
Yeah. So as we said last time, this is the last episode for at least a week, because both of us, you're going on vacation on Sunday. I'm going on vacation on Monday. So I probably, depending on how much I got my shit together, I might do a show on Sunday with a special guest. But let's be real. I will probably be scrambling, if it's anything like normal, when packing. And this time I have two toddlers. Not even. A toddler and a newborn. I'm getting ready. I'll probably won't do the show, but we'll see.
I can already see the mayhem the night before.
Yeah.
I'm already prepared for it. I'm not even going anywhere crazy. I'm just excited to get out of the house.
Yeah. I am not a calm traveler. So.
You're like a little uptight.
I mean, at least me, I'm driving. So we're both going to the beach. Separate beaches, but both going to the beach. You're flying. I'm driving. So at least I don't have to fly, because I hate airports.
Yeah, I prefer the flying piece of it.
Don't get me wrong.
2 hours in and out.
I hate road trips. Like, I'm not a road trip kind of guy. I have family in Michigan, and that's what they do. They road trip. Like, they'll go to Disney World and they'll drive from Michigan to Florida. No way.
Never gonna happen.
I'm driving to the coast in Texas. It's only like 5 hours away. Not bad. But the airport with a newborn and a toddler, look, you already know firsthand, Anuj, I am willing to fight someone at the airport. So you throw the stress of all of that.
You're hitting just for the sake of hitting someone.
I would never make it on the plane.
No.
I would never make it on the plane.
You would be on a watch list pretty quick.
I am surprised that I'm already not on it. Just from the incident. For those who don't know, because we've told the story once before, when we got home from BlizzCon, I was like half a bad decision away from being on the do not fly list.
Yeah, but I appreciate you having my back in that situation.
And I don't even know. I mean, it wouldn't have been my fault. I would have maybe gotten a Medal of Honor. I don't know.
Yeah, they were douchebags.
Complete the definition of a douche. This is who we had to deal with. And I almost fought them. I was just waiting for them to take the first swing. But that's just me on a plane. I just tight little packed corridor for a couple of hours. I'm a big guy, so that gets me claustrophobic a little bit. But nonetheless, we're not talking about the sad news for vacation. So we will both be gone for about a week, give or take. I'll be back before next Sunday, so I'll probably do a show then for sure with a special guest. So that way we're only taking like a week off. So I would expect, if you're a listener, no show for the next week. So no show on Monday, no show on next Thursday, but then back to schedule, at least with me and someone else, Sunday night next week. So that would be Sunday the 25th. Yeah, Sunday the 25th. So we'll take a week off. So there you have it. That's really it. That's all. That's the only show news I think to get to. So we'll be on vacation. Very looking forward to it. Already mentally checked out, Anuj. I just want, at one moment when we're gone, for both of us to put our feet into the ocean at the same time, just so we know.
We should call each other and then just like at the count of 3, I'm down.
Step into the and our wives would be like, "What are they doing?" It's just.
Or we could pee in the ocean at the same time.
Let's take our Switch. You take your Switch. I'll take my Switch. We'll go put our ankles deep into the ocean. And then it's like we're playing Switch together in the same room.
We are a little lucky that Ninja Turtles game is not coming out before this trip. Then I'll be on the Switch 90% of the time over there.
No, yeah, we'll talk about that in e-news because I cannot wait. Nintendo's got some good games coming up on the Switch. But let's get over into the actual show, shall we? As we're off for a week. So, meaning every time everything's all jumbled up anyways, packed with news when we get back. However, the esports gods have already graced us with the yikes of the week. So we figured if we're gone for a week, might as well get to this one right now. And Anuj, this comes to us from the land of Twitch. Now,
common occurrence in yikes.
Very common occurrence. Now, everyone knows the 2 worst kept secrets of Twitch are if you're a titty streamer, you can get away with it. Just it is what it is.
Yeah.
I don't even care if someone is offended by that. You know it. I know it. I'm not saying I'm offended by it. I'm not saying like, how dare you? Oh, I love a girl in a hot tub just as much as the next guy. But I would also appreciate it if you also owned up to the fact that you were just a chick in a hot tub and no real content behind it.
Yeah, no.
Like,
it's a PG version of OnlyFans.
Like, porn stars aren't upset that they're not at the Oscars because they know. Like, no, like, yes, we're all actors, but we get it. Like, we get it.
They really get it.
It's the same thing here. Like, no, yeah, I get that you're on Twitch and you're streaming, but not really a streamer, as I would say. Not really a gamer. But that's not the yikes. That's just one of the worst kept secrets. The other worst kept secret on Twitch, Anuj, is, I would say, a big portion of what we see are due to view bots. A better portion of it. And we've seen it, and it all depends on what your definition of a bot is, right? Some are legit, like straight up a bot. Others are embedded streams, right? Things like that get cracked down here and there. But it was recently announced by Twitch that they are finally doing something with these bots that follow and everything there. Anuj, do you have the numbers in front of you for what they're looking at? I believe it was upwards of, and I honestly thought this was a typo when they said it on their tweet, but I believe it was 7 million accounts they're looking at.
Yeah, like 7.5 million accounts have been identified already. Right? So that's not counting, and I guess it's like a new AI technology that they're using that's going through and able to fish out these view botting accounts. This is not counting, like we're not talking embedded streams here, right? So this is like
these are legit bot accounts.
And it's hit some harder than other. I think rumors out there that XQC lost 2 million followers already. So out of those 7.5 million bots, 2 million were following his channel, probably along with several others.
Of course.
And I don't think necessarily everybody that is losing followers means that they were purchasing views, right? Or like like a lot of this is just the way it's set up for.
And like you and I discussed in pre-show, I think when it comes down to it, the top streamers, I don't think at a certain point in your streaming career, you probably don't care how many followers you have. It's all about the live viewer count and your subs. Outside of that, you could have 1 billion followers, but if you're only getting 2 people watching you, like who cares? You know? Or if you have,
I mean, the only area that number is important is probably when you're trying to get like sponsorship type
advertisers
deals, right?
and
that's a number that you can use. But at the end of the day, if you're XQC or somebody like that, losing 2 million on the follower account, but yet still pushing 50,000-60,000 every time you go live, like that means a lot more, right?
The issue is if all of a sudden that reflects his viewer count, and then it's like, oh, you had a bunch of view bots also watching you.
I think this will be really interesting for like the mid-level streamer, right? Like the person that has like 60-70 viewers consistently. Some of those individuals I think are probably paying for views. Like I know we've seen a handful of situations or instances where that's happened, right? And they've been caught. And I think this is where that effect is going to hurt more than anything. The big streamers are big. None of them are using view bots to boost their numbers. I really don't believe that. But I think the mid-level streamer, the person that's just getting started that wants to show activity and not be on the last page or bundled up there with the people from 0 to 3 followers on page 7, 8, 9, like those are the ones that are probably using services to actually get views. Those are the ones that this is really targeted towards.
Yeah, and I mean, us, we don't have to worry about anything. I just looked. We're still in the billions.
Yeah, like it's
so
follower account.
Ours were all legit. I don't think I think we actually gained some.
We didn't even want a sub button because we were like, you know what? We're already like we're making too much. We have I don't even know how to spend. We're having to go on vacation just to dump money.
Yeah, I just want to give esports away for free. And I would feel guilty if we got paid.
Yeah.
That's honestly what it's about. Has nothing to do with that we still can't figure out tax issues and Twitch doesn't recognize our tax ID. Has nothing to do with Canadians don't know what they're doing. Has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with that. We just don't want the money.
With that being said, we do have a Patreon set up. So if you are enjoying the content and want to contribute to the growth of the show or just, hey guys, enjoying what you're doing, here's a little something, we're more than willing to take that right now.
Because I also don't want to be rude.
Yeah, we don't want to say no, but the option is there if you're enjoying what we're doing and you want to be a part of the Ringer program, hit up our Patreon.
And I think what everyone should be looking forward to this giant view botting ban wave going on Twitch right now is the next time there's a beta that is available to viewers, your chances have just gone up what I would have to imagine like 300%.
Yeah, I would say they've probably gone up 7.5 million%.
Because don't you remember when Valorant was doing those beta keys and you would look in the view, you would, and I don't even know why Twitch has this as a feature because I don't know who ever has ever actually used it, but you can look up the viewers of the stream. One of the most useless features on Twitch, but it's there, I guess. And like you would look and it's just, I mean, thousands of Valorant 0001, Valorant 00012, Valorant 0023. It's just thousands of, you could obviously tell, bot accounts that were there just to get a key and then sell it. So that was a huge issue on why some people were never able to get keys and things like that. So hopefully in the future that is obviously it's not a perfect system, right? But
This is good though.
it's
You know,
good.
it's a yikes, but it's a yikes only because of the scale of the number of accounts they've already identified, and I feel like we're early in the process. But as a whole, this is great. Like this is
I mean, the
stuff
fact
you
that
would want to
Twitch
see.
is finally showing that they care about their site is a good sign to begin with. When was the last time you think Twitch did something that you can remember that Twitch did something that wasn't for the sake of like pushing a new service or, like this is a quality of life change? I can't honestly, I cannot remember the last time Twitch did that.
I don't remember the last feature that Twitch implemented that has like been good for the everyday Joe, right? Like, I mean, it's just most of the features, even like the co-streaming and stuff like that, like those are all really cool things, but only if you're big enough to use them, you know?
Right.
And so this is at least a change that is going to benefit all in general.
Yeah. Yeah, like we stream on Twitch, but I spend a lot more time watching than I do streaming. So this to me is a win. It's a win-win for everyone, unless you're a botter. But if that's the case, no one cares. All right. So looking at then other news that is happening on with esports is in the world of Counter-Strike. Would you want to talk Blast first, or do you want to talk some of these rumors floating around?
Yeah, we can run through Blast.
All right. So we did have
Blast is only the first round, so we just
it's
finished up the round of 16.
very early on with Blast. We finished, like Anuj said, round of 16. With that being said, nothing important happened. Pretty much everything went as is. I still think you actually have a couple matches. Heroic saw Vitality and 9Z team, however you'd say that. But that being said, Anuj, if you couldn't tell by the tone of my voice, I was joking. I gotcha. If you believed me that nothing has happened so far in Blast, you're an idiot and you've been got, because this is already these early on tournaments for Counter-Strike have been incredible.
Would you say this has been incredible so far? Like, are you happy with the outcomes that you've seen so far?
Ask me in the finals. I like upsets and I like the stories, but as I've often said on records, I like the Cinderella story up until about semis. And then I like to see the juggernauts fight. Right? I like to see King Kong and Godzilla fight. I don't want to see the human storyline interaction in between.
I think there's a good chance we are disappointed heading into the finals of this event. And I hope I'm wrong, right? Because there's still a lot of great teams left. We still have Heroic, Vitality, Gambit, G2, and like OG with their new lineup, but we're missing out on like the biggest names probably in this event at the moment. And Tim, that'd be Astralis, right? Astralis took an early blow. It's a single elimination bracket. They were up against OG and they got smacked, like in the first game, it wasn't even close, really. Like they were able to run right over him on Inferno. Dust 2 obviously being a closer match that goes into overtime, but OG comes out of there with a 2-0 win after adding Flames to the lineup there.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Astralis. It seems like the last couple of times they've just come out really flat-footed. Like not even like, oh, this was really close and Astralis looked really good and the other team just played incredibly well. Like you even go on like social media, go on Reddit, and it's like the general consensus is like, oh, Astralis looked rough. Like that did not look like the Astralis we're used to. So
And we'll get deeper into Astralis here in a moment based on like some comments that were recently made. Maybe we just like run through these matches and what they are.
okay.
Because a lot of these teams are about to be discussed in the second half of this segment, right? There's a lot to
Right.
get to here. And so for this portion, let's just focus on this is the event, this is where we're at. It's round of
Okay.
16. Like,
I like it.
and then we'll jump into some of these in a little bit more detail. I think some of the other big games that we should just highlight. G2 taking out Endpoint. It was good to see G2 just get one early, right? They've struggled in events, just haven't been right. Just things just have not gone right for them ever since the Nico acquisition, and then now dropping, Kenny S. It just hasn't felt good, and so beating Endpoint is not something to marvel over. But hey, you pulled one out. You got a 2-0 win. At least that part is good. And you avoid Astralis.
Look, I
Like,
was
that's
about
the
to
biggest
say
part.
it doesn't matter if they beat Endpoint or if they beat Saw or whoever, right? It doesn't matter, right? Especially right now with the way the bracket is shaping up. All you have to do is move on, and it's like
Mhm.
your chances have gone up tenfold with the teams that are left. Like honestly,
No,
like if you
for
look at
sure.
who's left, G2 is they just instantly became a contender.
Yeah, G2 is sitting in a pretty comfortable spot, right? Like you have OG next. Not to say that OG is a pushover, but you're probably not intimidated by that matchup as if it were Astralis. I could tell you right now, it would be like trying to, just like we saw last week with the CDL major. It would be a 99.9% pick rate for Astralis, right? Nobody has faith in G2 to beat a really good team right now, and so I think getting OG confidence is probably high. And that kind of leads us into what they would be facing going into the next few rounds here. Tim, we had Dignitas. Dignitas of all teams. I didn't even know they still had a Counter-Strike team, honestly. I thought they had dropped them recently. Take out Liquid 2-0.
I had to look up the rankings on this because I'm somewhat like you. I was kind of out of the loop on what Dignitas was doing with their CS roster. And after the round when they defeated Liquid, the casters were Launders and what's his partner's name?
Scrawny?
Scrawny. I was about to say Skinny. I was close. Close.
Close.
Uh they were both freaking out saying like, oh, it's David and Goliath and blah blah blah. And in my head I'm like thinking, well, Liquid's kind of sucked lately, so I don't know how much of a David and Goliath this is. And then you look on HLTV's ranking. I'm like, okay, 1 through 10. No, Dignitas isn't there. 10 through 15th? No Dignitas there. Okay, well, they got to be at least in like the top 20. No, they're not in the top 30 right now.
I thought they were at 28 right now.
Dignitas on the HLTV rankings that I am looking at. Let me make sure this is updated. Oh, wait, hold on. Maybe mine wasn't updated. Okay, they are 28th.
They're 28
Why
right
did
now.
Google not send? Okay, I stand corrected. Google was not up to date for whatever
But
reason.
the point is here is that that's not really been the norm for them. They've jumped up
They
a little
jumped
bit
up
more as
7.
of recently.
So I guess I was
Um,
looking at March's update. This was
they were
updated
sitting
as
at
of
45 just a few weeks ago.
Oh, well,
So
that's what it was. Okay. Yeah, so this was updated on the 12th. So I guess last I looked, they weren't in the top 30.
yeah, like on March 15th, which is
Look,
not that long ago.
I don't give a shit if you're 28th or 35th. There's no difference between that one, right? Like when you're out of the top 20, you're pretty much all the same to me. Like you're just in that non-existent level of CS. And so yeah, they're absolutely right. Like the fact that you were able to take out Liquid, who's been struggling, but they're still a top 10 team. I don't know
I
if
mean, you say been struggling. They haven't been bad, like since the Fallen acquisition. I would say that's been it's been good for them as a whole, right? They're not winning tournaments necessarily, which is the ultimate goal, but I wouldn't say they're like a team that is just dying right now.
no, I
Like
mean they weren't like Cloud9.
yeah, they look okay. Things have gone, I think, fairly well. I think the adjustment period of Fallen taking the opping role and the IGL role takes a little bit of time, especially when you have a veteran team around him that's been together for a while. This was just a smacking, though. Dignitas beating you 16-5 on their pick, granted, right? That was on Nuke. That was Dignitas's pick. But Nuke has been an okay map for Liquid. It's not like they've been terrible on that map. And then you go to your map pick of Vertigo, which I don't like the map pick to begin with. Like, I don't know why. I feel like they have better options in my mind, but like that Vertigo to me feels like a 50-50 map, especially when you're playing a team that you don't face often. Like I can't tell you the last time Dignitas and Liquid probably faced off. That seems like a real 50-50 map because the strats are fairly precise from site to site, and that's kind of what we've talked about. You go onto a site, you know exactly what to expect, where the smokes are going to be, where people are going to try and hit you through the wall, what angle. It's just very like, this is it,
Yeah, I wonder what Liquid saw in that Vertigo pick, because you're absolutely right. Like, I don't view Vertigo as a map that I would pick to be like, this is the map one team just dominates on. Like
Yeah.
Nuke has had its moments where like one team dominates it, right? You've seen the same thing on Mirage or Inferno. Like all these maps have certain teams that have dominated at certain times. Vertigo is still kind of in that realm of like, it's pretty even every time we see a Vertigo map pick. So I don't know why, if you're the favorite, as in Liquid, why you would pick a map that could go 50-50 or even be close. Pick a map that you know for sure that you're going to be the better team on.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, it just seems like an odd pick to me. I didn't like it. Looks like they're probably not going to go that route again. Really wish we got a map 3. That would have been Dust 2. But look, good for the guys over at Dignitas, right? Like you have Forrest and Freiburg, two people that I absolutely adore in Counter Strike, playing for them, and for them to still be competing at this level. We'll see if that's consistent or not. I think that's awesome, right? Like Lekro, another guy that's been passed around the Swedish scene quite a bit. Halsberg has looked good at times. So we'll see what this roster is, but disappointing for Liquid nonetheless. That's not a game you can afford to lose. You would have had Spirit in the next round. Then you would have been playing the winner of G2 OG. Like this was kind of set up for you to advance through. Initially, when I looked at this too, I was like, damn, we're going to have Liquid Astralis before the finals. And now they're both knocked out round of 16. So disappointing.
Funny how that works.
Yeah,
and just a reminder for what this tournament sets up is this is the spring showdown. 2 teams will qualify for the spring finals coming up in June. So that's what the 2 teams here are competing for. All right, so it's not like one's a winner or anything like that. It's you have pretty much both sides of the brackets that will compete into one team or 2 total going on to the spring finals. So that's what Anuj was just talking about, where we would never have had in the spring finals, just with the way the bracket worked out, we were never going to get Astralis and Liquid into the finals. But we could have at least seen a pretty badass round 4 to have like a do or die situation. But
yeah,
now that looks pretty weak. Team Spirit versus Extra Salt beat them 2-0. That's what Extra Salt gets for having the worst name in esports.
Man, it sucks for them. They dropped out of their last event to go make this event, flew to Europe, and just to get 2-0'd and have to go back home. Like that's disappointing.
Doesn't feel good.
No. Well, and then we had Gambit beat Nasser. I've never even heard of that team until this event, to be honest with you. And then Furia taking out MIBR. It still feels weird to say MIBR because it's a shell of a team that we all once knew. So Gambit and Furia coming up in the quarterfinals. I think again the other big match to keep an eye out for, G2 OG. Tim did mention tomorrow we still have a couple of first round games going on. I think the reason we didn't wait for 2 reasons, because we're gone for a week, but the other half of this is both of those games seem pretty easy in terms of who we're going to pick and who we would call to win it. We have Heroic versus Saw, and then Vitality versus 9Z tomorrow. So should have some decent CS going into the weekend, right? Like I think Saturday and Sunday could be a couple of exciting games.
I mean, Fury and Gambit, mark your calendars for that one. Like that right there. You want to talk about a shame that this round is already or this match is already happening so soon. The fact that one of these teams is going to get eliminated kind of sucks, because honestly, both of those teams, I mean, could honestly make a run for the title in the finals as of right now.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, and I mean, you have Gambit, who's sitting at number 1 now in the rankings after this past week and making the finals.
Fury has got to be. Do you have the ranks in front of you? Fury has got to be top.
Fury is 7.
Okay.
Right now.
Top 10 is what I was gonna say. So yeah.
And so, I mean, yeah, that's a really good matchup. Excited for that one. Definitely excited for the G2 OG matchup now too. So, we'll see what the weekend leads to. Hopefully, we got Heroic Vitality as well on Saturday. I think that'd be another great matchup. But we do have some fun stuff to discuss with a couple of these teams here coming up.
Yeah, so talk to me about Vitality because I saw your tweet saying that everything that's going on with their roster, and I know we discussed a little bit last time, is that we're at this weird period now where teams kind of have to make a break. It's like a do or die decision on your roster because with these bigger events starting, they're having those major points come up. So you don't have the luxury of switching up your roster like you might have had early on in the year with these little events. Now these are big point tournaments, and you can't really afford to make a whole lot of roster moves.
Yeah, I mean, for Vitality, this whole situation, I don't understand. Like, I now look at this team very different than I did even like a month ago. Recently, we did have the departure of Navira, so we'll kind of set the stage here. Navira was their sixth man. They were running a six-man roster. Um, he was essentially coming in as a map specialist, but played really well, right? Like people looked at him, that's Scream's brother. He had played really well. I would say more than held his own because on a lot of the maps that he competed on, he was generally top fragging or at the very least doing his job in a pretty high manner. Well, he was recently benched, moved over to the bench. It looks like he'll be looking for another team here. So that at least gave us our set five. Well, fast forward a few weeks, and yesterday we get the announcement of RPK now stepping down from the team, and then he'll be moving into a bench role and then ultimately, retiring or moving on to another team. But losing RPK now puts them in this really awkward position of we just lost our sixth man who we've been playing with and either you could say grooming or at the very least gives you another person that you're accustomed to playing with heading into some of these matches. You lose your sixth man, you lose RPK, who has been a stand-up player for every team he's been on. Like, I mean, the model of consistency. It hasn't been amazing the last few months, but he holds some tough positions. He plays a tough, unique role. So I think he's done his job fine, honestly. Well, they go out, Tim, and this is a roster that's in the top five, mind you. They go out and pick up Koijin. And Koijin is who you ask. He is a young player, only 19 maps played under his name, which I think is, I mean, that's huge to me. That means you just lack experience, right? And that's okay. I think if you're heading into a team that is in a growth period and they have time to kind of mesh, like Vitality has different expectations. They have expectations of winning majors. They're the number one French team. They've let go of some really high level players, right? They've let go of NBK, bringing in Shocks onto this team. Um, to me, this kind of stinks. Like I don't see this roster getting to the heights that they've once achieved with where we're at now. You have Mistua holding a spot. You have now Koijin coming in to play RPK's roles. You have Apex IGLing, which I was always kind of 50-50 on. And so now we're going to be going to the simple model, in my mind, of relying purely on Zywoo and at times Shocks to carry this team to wins. And I don't like the pickup, and I don't know what the thought process was behind it, honestly.
I mean, you want to talk about lack of experience. His Wikipedia page does not have a picture, which I know is not everything, but typically if my team is making a signing, I want to see a picture. That's just like a general rule of thumb I'd like to see. No real.
I mean, his HLTV page doesn't have a picture.
Yeah, so not looking good there. His approximate total winnings, according to Wikipedia, $490. Anuj, I believe we've made more money than that in our esports career.
Probably, actually. What's funny is this guy comes with controversy tied to him too. I mean, I get that you're picking up a young talent, and maybe it has the Stewie or Rops effect that they would be looking
if
for.
I had to guess with the young talent, it's like they're telling themselves they did it with Zywoo, so they can do it again. Now, Zywoo wasn't even that inexperienced, though, but they're telling themselves we could get another Zywoo out of the French scene.
and that's what we're all going to wait and see. But he did come with a little bit of baggage. He had to get clearance from Valve to make sure he could participate in the majors because there were an instance of a VAC ban on one of his accounts and rumored cheating scandal that was kind of tied to him. It looks like that stuff is obviously cleared up and they feel confident moving forward with them. But, again, that was kind of lurking behind him and that was brought up immediately after the signing. Um, to again dropping you're losing RPK, you're losing Navira. I thought Navira could have easily been that player to step into that role, and we probably wouldn't be having this as a discussion topic, right? It would have been an e-news and we would have moved on. But to me, this kind of reeks like I'm not that excited. I would be pretty nervous if I was rooting for the French scene because I think an unknown is a problem when you're going into this type of level of competition. Like I would rather personally have the guy that has 150 maps played under his name that I know I can probably rely on to not only do their job, but like perform at the level you need them to perform at when things get really tough, really tense. It's only going to ramp up. And so he's walking into a very tough situation and he'll be expected to perform immediately. And, God bless him. I hope he can do it. I just have my doubts.
Do you think this speaks more volume to the French scene in general? The fact that like they have to go with this quote unquote unknown talent?
No, I mean,
Because I mean, surely
I
there
think
was
that a
better
lot of this
options.
was a role issue. There are other players in the French scene that bring more firepower, but you need somebody that is willing to play RPK's role. And so I think losing RPK, people will look at it and be like, "Oh, he's old and, it's time to move on." But like he was an anchor for that team. Like he really did a lot. So you need somebody that can step in to play that. I think that's why Navira was not considered, honestly, because he didn't play the same spots as RPK did. So I think a lot of this is around a play style change. I don't really like that. I get it. You need people to fill holes, but I would rather have somebody that's uber talented with a lot of experience and ask him to make a change versus bringing in somebody inexperienced to fill those shoes.
It will be interesting. I'm not anti risk. Like I said, I love the Stewie pickups. I love the Zywoo pickups. I love those risky signings because they can definitely work out in your favor.
It's only fun when they do work out as a
How
problem. The names you
and
listed are like the best ones.
and those names that I listed are like when the teams could risk it. Like
Yeah.
like Vitality was not a top 5 team right out the gate, right? Zywoo was kind of, I won't say a shock, right? He was always in the discussion of like, hey, this guy could be really good, right? This kid coming up, Zywoo, you need to watch him. But it was always like quite apparent, like, hey, it was they had the room to risk, right? They could do it. Like you said, they're like a top 10, top 5 team right now. I
You
don't
don't have that luxury to like figure it out. Like it just has to work. Look at the pressure that was applied on OG's lineup when they first got together, right? Like they now are like figuring it out and making changes, but like the pressure is high from day one. You are getting paid, whether he's getting paid a lot of money, players on that team are getting paid a lot of money, and Vitality is a big enough org to where I just don't see them like willing to wait, and I feel like that's going to need to happen with this roster. Let's see what he does. Like I said, he might surprise all of us, but you come in with 19 maps played, you're filling some big shoes like that's going to be very difficult to do. And Vitality's been on the downswing. That's why these changes are being made. It's not like somebody's just retiring because it's time and they want to hang up the cleats. Like you're going to a team that is struggling where I'm going to assume internally like they're probably not in the best mental space right now. We know the French guys are heated in general and play with a lot of emotion. And so when they're not playing well, I can only imagine what the inner workings of that team probably feels like when things are not going well. So that's not going to help him either, right? If you're not walking into a comfortable situation, I'm sure they're going to do their best to make him feel good about it. Um, but he knows what's on the line. He knows what's at stake, and now he's just got to go do his job and do it well.
And now what's going on with Astralis? I understand that the 6-man
Yeah,
might not be working out and things like that. So, and they've been kind of playing flat-footed anyways, as I mentioned before, talking about Blast. It's Blast and ESL. Both of those last events they've been in have looked extra not like we've seen Astralis in the past, I think, struggle a little bit. And when I say struggle, I mean maybe they get knocked down to a loser's bracket, or maybe you have one off tournament, but then the next they bounce right back. We've now seen it not as sharp as before.
I think with Astralis, so Astralis is still ranked number 2. Okay, so let's keep that in mind
Of
as
course.
we discuss
Again,
this.
look, I feel bad for Astralis because they are one of these teams, like the Yankees or the New England Patriots when Brady was on New England Patriots. They're one of these teams now, or I guess any team with LeBron, where if they lose, if they don't win the championship once, the discussion of does the team need to blow up, right? Like the fact, and it's not just like we're discussing it now, but it's like I've seen Thorin talk about it, which Thorin has been anti-Astralis for a long time, but it's like I've now seen so many guys talk about like, oh, Astralis and the roster's falling apart. They haven't won 2 tournaments, not just perform, won 2 tournaments, and like teams are already, or guys are already saying that the team needs to blow up.
Yeah, well, it didn't help. Device said that changes should be expected. So when you tweet that out, um, that's gonna obviously start drumming up the rumor mill. You have Bubsky sitting on the bench, who you were wasting his career. I mean, that's genuinely what you were doing. Release the player, let him go elsewhere, because you have no intention of using a 6-man roster. That was for a brief stint when they had Glaive and Zipnix both out for whatever their own reasons. They brought on a couple other players at that time, and now they've kept Bubsky, and he's doing absolutely nothing on that roster. Now, I do think they make a change, but I think it's going to be one player. Obviously, this is not going to be some complete overhaul. Um, I don't even really know who it is the crazy part. Like, my guess is it's Zipnix, right? You're not going to lose Glaive. Obviously, Devices is a staple. Magisk is one of the best players. Dupree is also like a top 20 player consistently. So it's got to be Zipnix if somebody is getting replaced. I think one of Zipnix's key strengths is he was known as that clutch master. He really hasn't been that in a little while now. So maybe they look to upgrade in that position, or try something new, but I wouldn't worry as much if I were them. Like, I personally probably wouldn't make a change until we go back to LAN and you see this team not succeed. The online era of Counter-Strike has been incredibly weird, right? Like, teams coming out of left field to take top spots. I mean, all of a sudden, CIS region looks godlike. Obviously, we've seen Heroic jump up and do amazing things during this time. Um, I would wait and see. I mean, I'm not one for thinking they should make a change right now. You're ranked number 2. You're playing pretty well at times. ESL Pro League probably left a bitter taste. I think coming in like 5th, 6th place, somewhere around there. Um, Overall, I would wait. But if they are going to make a change, I do think it would be Zipnix. I don't know if it would be Bubsky that they would be pulling in from the bench to replace him, or would they go on the outside. But I feel like this team is just built so much rapport with one another. Like, just wait till we're back to LAN. You have an effect on teams without even playing them from a mental game that you can't use at the moment. Like, that advantage has been disabled during COVID. Wait till you're back on stage. Put your 5-man lineup, who's got what, 3 majors in front of you, and 4 top 20
Yeah,
players. Like,
that's kind of where
just
I think it's like, look at the history that this roster have together, And it would be a little silly if you saw it all blow up because a string of poor outings in events, like you said, online. Now, albeit online's been around long enough to where I think we can say that we have a pretty good idea on what teams are legit and what teams are just online fads and things like that. But that being said, yeah, you have 3 majors underneath your belt with this 5-man roster. You got to at least give it till at least the next major. Like they're not at a point now where I would say, hey, sound the alarm. You need to make a roster move to even have a chance to win the major. If anything, turn this early outing around and just use it for some time off, right? Take some R&R, take some time away from the game, and then come back or refresh. We've seen them do it before. Astralis is definitely a roster that just needs that kind of break. They're not a team that just, funny enough, can just grind it out. You would think, oh, number 2 in the world, of course they're the ones who put in the grind. But they've also, are at times in their life now where I think they appreciate the break.
Yeah, I mean, LAN is obviously what we're saying is beneficial to them. The online era has really only been beneficial for teams that are like breaking in, right? Like getting their name out there. It really hasn't done justice to the top teams because I just don't think they care as much. And we saw that with VP. Like, it's true, we know what happens, that some teams just don't care as much about online play, especially when you're at the level that they're at. Now, granted, some of these events are really big in name, but there's still an aspect of it that's missing when it's not on LAN at this point.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, you can, no matter what you want to call the event, online's online to some of these players. And until it's on LAN with the crowd and everything like that, it's just that mental block. Does it make sense? No. Is it warranted? Absolutely not. You should care about every game that you play. However, that's just not how these brains work of ours.
Yeah.
You can't get around it. It's the whole thing of preseason mentality or practice mentality. There's no mimicking real game experience, right? And it's the same thing when it comes to online versus LAN. There is no mimicking the adrenaline that goes through you on a LAN event compared to online. There isn't. If you've been on both sides of it, there's no comparing it. So I think you're absolutely right. And to your note of anyone saying that, no, that's not true, like Anuj said, point in case VP of 4 years ago, the Polish VP, because look at their history, and it was like any LAN event, they would dominate, and then as soon as like an online qualifier popped up,
they were getting kicked out of leagues because they were so bad online.
Right.
Like
top 5 in the world getting kicked out of ESL Pro League because they couldn't handle the online qualifiers.
Like ESL literally changed rules to make VP
twice,
yeah, to like play in like all of a sudden these decider matches just to get them through. So like, yes, that mental roadblock is there, as Tim said. We don't like that. Like, if you're playing in a game, you should be expected to perform at your highest level, but it's just not reality. So yeah,
every Mountain Dew
hang on, Astralis, just hang on. Let's go back to LAN. Let's see if we figure this out, and then if it still looks the same, sure, make your change. But I wouldn't be so quick to pull the trigger during the online era.
Every Mountain Dew League team has Virtus Pro to thank for having a chance to be competing in qualifier tournaments to pro leagues, because without them, there would never be relegation, because VP is the only reason those rules are even in place, because when they were eliminated, then all of a sudden these rules came up. Oh, hey, we're going to have these playing games, and oh, by the way, VP is going to be in them. So please, VP, please care about this, because we need you. So good times. So we'll see. Like I said, I mean, rosters are kind of at that point now where you kind of have to decide sooner than later, because with how many competitive rosters there are now in Counter-Strike. I mean, look, you got Big, Gambit, Heroic, right? All these teams that have kind of came up through the online era. You don't really have as much of a luxury to let your foot off the gas, especially when the major point season really kicks off. You can't play around with switching up your roster. And like we said last time, the points are assigned to the player, not the team. So even if you have a 6-man, even if he is registered for there, if he didn't play in the match, he's not getting the points. So it's a huge deal when you have these roster locks, and you can't just make roster moves flippantly just because you had 2 bad tournaments. So, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, these teams, we've seen it happen before. They'll make big changes, and some will sacrifice the points. Astralis might be in that mentality of, hey, we'll sacrifice 300 points or whatever if it means that we can get a roster we feel like we can compete with.
They're already starting ahead of the curve, right? They already get all these bonus points for winning and doing everything that they've done. So
very, very true. So there's some CS news for you, and Blast. And again, Blast is all week, so watch that. We have some good ones, but it's just the qualifiers, thank God. So we won't really miss a whole lot by not talking about it, by not having a show next week. So let's get over into some e-news. E-news is brought to you by Philly Esports. They host monthly online events, and they also do in-person events when those start up, when that's a thing. But this month is this weekend, April 17th. You could still go and register for free. It's a 3v3 search and destroy tournament for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, sponsored by U.S. Army and Monster. $500 prize pool. So you and your friends become millionaires overnight. Check it out, phillyesports.net. You let them know the TCR boy sent you, and they'll give you a thumbs up. Let's see here. E-news. What do we got? In CSGO, Michu set to join EG. Rumors of Tarek being out.
That would be... The rumors are not only would Tarek be out, but Tarek could be potentially moving to Valorant.
I mean...
And those
I could have told you that was going to happen. Anyone who watches Tarek stream, which he doesn't stream a whole lot, but when he does, it's awesome. His heart is in Valorant. You could just tell on stream. He wants to play Valorant. I am not going to be shocked at all when we see this switch happen.
I'm gonna be sad though. This is really brutal for NA.
I love Tarek though. So
absolutely brutal. I love him in the Counter-Strike scene. He's been a content machine. He was part of the first major winning team for NA. This would be a devastating blow. It really would be. I know EG has struggled. This makes EG more international than they do NA with this change. If this were to happen, they would have 3 international players and 2 NA players. If I'm OBO, I'm probably what the hell? I just got here, and
I think I'm gonna switch to Valorant. What the hell?
Yeah,
am I doing this? Why am I playing Counter-Strike? I'm gonna go Valorant.
I don't think this change makes them any better. In fact, I think it makes them worse. A lot of these roster changes we're talking about, these are changes that I feel makes the teams worse, and this is another one of those. So,
indeed, it does. But in EG's defense, I don't know how much of it's their choice. If Tarek's leaving. You got to replace him.
Yeah,
and unfortunately,
it's going to be interesting as this information comes out. We'll dive deeper into this, and it'll probably end up being its own segment at some point. But this is another devastating blow for NA if this is the case. I think EG will continue to free fall in rankings. I don't see this. I don't see this doing wonders for them in any way.
Are there still people saying NACS isn't dead?
I'm sure there are, Tim.
Is that still a thing people are trying to make us believe? Because it seems on life support at best. It seems like this is when you're calling family and loved ones to come say goodbye.
I'm probably pulling the cord pretty soon.
Yeah,
it's
on
life support,
it's I'm calling
our electricity bill is getting a little high.
I'm calling you right now, Nugent, saying, buddy, it doesn't. The doctors are saying they don't know how long he's gonna last. If you just want to come and say goodbyes, come say your goodbyes, because we gotta.
It's over soon. Not good.
We got ERCOT as our electrical company, and they're saying we got to conserve energy again before they cut us all off. So that's a little Texas electrical joke for you guys who don't know. So I don't know. Thoughts and prayers for EG. Thoughts and prayers for NACS. But on a bright side, if you're just a fan of CS, Anuj, which I'd like to think you and I are, we don't need nationality tied to CS to get us excited. This gets me excited. As the team that's been floating around there between Flusha, Sunny, is it
Surge,
Sergey, right?
Surge J,
Esperanto, and Calyx starting a new team together. Now, they've also said that it's going to be tied to some org, or at least something along the lines that is an official org, but that has yet to be announced. But look, you had me at Flusha and Sunny.
Yeah, and even in Surge coming from Ents, like this is actually not a bad lineup. I don't know what kind of damage they'll do. It'll be interesting to see if Sunny and Flusha kind of return to form. But Surge was also good on Ents, and people looked at that as a weird dropping for them. So and even Esperanto, like he had some good moments here as of late, and I'm drawing a blank on the team that he is coming from, unfortunately. I'm just gonna pull that up. I don't have it.
Yeah,
Anyways,
it's been so long since we've seen like Flusha, and it's Sunny. I felt like has just been kind of gypped out of a lot of different roster moves throughout his career. Pulled the plug a little too soon at a few times. So I am interested. My heart wants them to be good. My brain is telling me they're going to be like Dignitas. So
yeah, like middle of the pack somewhere
right
around there.
They'll have that one upset and it will get you excited. But other than that, there's that. In Overwatch, the Overwatch League again is kicking off this weekend. First matchup is between the Dallas Fuel and Houston Outlaws in the Texas Showdown. But as is tradition, the Dallas Fuel cannot start the season off without a little speed bump, as XZ announces his retirement just days before the season. And Anuj, as much as you want to make fun of a retirement in Overwatch League right before the season starts, this is actually pretty sad because it's due to complications with scoliosis. So he's traveling back home to Korea to undergo surgery and deal with that.
Well, we give him all of our thoughts and prayers. Hopefully they're able to help him, and maybe he makes a return at some point, but that doesn't even seem to be the priority. It's just getting his health right.
Being a pro gamer in scoliosis is probably not the most enjoyable experience out there.
No, that sounds brutal. So rooting for him,
no amount of $2,000 gaming chairs can fix that.
No.
So hopefully that comes out. And in typical esports fashion, he says they announced his retirement for now. Pretty sure that's not how retirement works. I could be wrong.
It does. You've seen Brett Favre do it. I mean,
but they don't make the announcement. They don't say for now in their announcement.
Brett Favre might as well have the way
you don't say, guys, I'm gonna retire for now for like a month, and then I'll come back. We'll see. But yeah, so hopefully that doesn't affect the Fuels too much. Another player though retiring just moments before the season starts is fan favorite and French DPS Soon. He is leaving Overwatch for, you'll never believe it,
shocker,
Valorant. So this comes after he was recently dropped.
Quitting Overwatch for Valorant. Let's use also the right terminology.
He is retiring. He is retiring from Overwatch.
Yeah, sure.
He was actually recently let go by Boston due to visa issues. I'm gonna assume that was on purpose. I'm gonna assume he was like, "You mean I can't play if I get visa issues?" Yeah, don't worry, guys. I sent in the paperwork.
I left it at home.
Don't worry. I sent in the paperwork. I don't know what's going on there. Oh, you gotta drop me? Oh, okay. I'm gonna go play Valorant now.
And all of a sudden, that paperwork has been filed.
Right. All of a sudden, he's got passport, visa, plane ticket, everything. He's good to go. And everything there. Also, though, this was recently kind of breaking news that the Overwatch League has confirmed, apart from when they said that most of their events were going to be online, they have announced that they will have 3 live events this year, mostly all in China, though. So
cool beans.
Pretty much. In Valorant news, August, the principal champ designer for League of Legends is been recruited by Valorant to design a new agent. So
that's pretty cool. I mean, hopefully they don't bring too much of a League of Legends style, because there are like some agents in League of Legends that you would never want to see in Valorant, like Karthus, for example. I mean, there's just so many that I hope they do this like in an FPS style, right?
I was
I
about to
like that
say,
they're
like,
bringing in somebody that's
I
been
don't
part of the
need.
league world.
I
But
just don't want like a swordsman, you know? Like I just let it be an FPS for now. You can add the gimmicky stuff later on in its lifespan, but just let it be an FPS still. I don't need like a Genji or something, you know.
no,
Let it be an FPS still. I don't
nothing too wizardy.
Right.
You know, I don't need to have that feeling
right.
playing that
But
game.
also kind of surprised that he wasn't always involved. Not that I know the inner workings of how Riot works, but
Yeah, but you know, like League is a beast, right?
I guess
And
yeah,
like,
you
it's
don't
probably
let
all
people.
hands on, and I think he is working both teams though. I don't know if he's officially like leaving.
No,
the
yeah, no.
league,
I think this is just him.
like coming over to help out. And
Right.
help
Yeah.
fight
I think
players
this is
here.
just like a hey, we want some outside of the box thinking. Let's get you involved. I think that's all
Yeah.
it was. But either way, I mean, still cool, right? If you're a League fan, a Riot fan, in general, interested to see what type of hero comes from him. With Call of Duty, Hex, owner of Optic, and just esports kind of extraordinaire, Hex is set to launch a cannabis brand in Cali and hemp brand nationally.
It's pretty badass. I will. I'll be a consumer if possible. You know, if we can
we go back
legally
to
obtain it
Cali?
over here.
I don't partake in the devil's lettuce, Anuj, so I'll take your word for it.
I'll let you know how it is. I'll smoke up that green wall dank or whatever he calls it.
It better
but,
be called something like that, right?
like that.
There's
It's got to be green wall.
one
So, like,
called.
it's set up right. So, you know, cool. That's actually pretty neat. Excited to see what he will come up with.
And CDL has announced that they are going back to LAN at some
Thank
point. It's the biggest tease ever.
It is.
Because
I saw that when I was like, "There's no dates or anything announced." I was like, "So
at
you're
first, I
announcing that
honestly
you're planning to go back?"
I honestly thought it was like a mistweet because they tweeted saying like we're going back to LAN, but like no dates, no estimated time of when. Like it was just like for all I know, they're talking about in 2022, like next season. You know?
Yeah.
But it's like everyone's
very vague. Hopefully,
Yeah.
it's going to be here in Dallas. Like that's what I'm really praying for.
I assume with all the teams being in Dallas, look, I will be pretty upset if you have half the league living in Dallas and then you're telling me it's like in LA. like that's gonna suck.
CDL, you never know, but I think it'll probably be in Dallas. Chances are it's not going to be open to fans, so I wouldn't expect any sort of.
Well, we're not fans,
yeah.
Anuj. We're media.
You get us in, and I'll be a happy camper.
We'll get in. We'll get in. Don't you worry. And in other news, other gaming news, at the latest Nintendo Direct, the Indie Showcase, it has been announced, Anuj, this is big for you, that they are doing a remaster of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge game for the Nintendo Switch.
That is like, I told Kelly today, my wife, I told Kelly today, look, you prevented what could have potentially been a good or bad purchase, depending on how you're looking at it. I wanted the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cabinet by Arcade 1-Up that they sell, and it has both games, that and Turtles in Time, in it. And I go, look, it's coming to Switch, so you got a little lucky. I went from spending potentially $450 or whatever it was down to $60 or whatever they're going to charge me. This is going to be badass. I am so excited for this. This was such a pivotal game in my gaming life. You know, like this was really one of the first games that we were like deeply entrenched in, that we wanted to beat, that we went, got home from school and wanted to play. So super stoked for that. I'm gonna be Donatello. I'm telling you right now, if we're
That's
playing
fine.
together, Tim.
You can keep him.
Thank you. So as long as I have Donatello, I don't care who you are. But I'm really, really looking forward to this.
I remember this is still a must-play game when you go to any arcade. Still, So any arcade worth its penny has this game. So and it's still a must-play.
It gets me excited because I think that means they'll probably do Turtles in Time at some point, which was even for me more iconic because I was just a little bit older and more involved in gaming at that point. And so I hope that's what it leads to. But still, this announcement was was really really cool. Like I told my sister I'm getting my Switch back. So
I saw the announcement and immediately plugged in my Switch to charge. So I'm glad.
they did not set a date. I don't think. I think
No,
it just said
it's later this year, but typically Nintendo, when it comes to this type of stuff, is like, I mean, they're pretty quick as far, especially like a game like this where it's, you know, I'm sure it's pretty much already done.
Is
They're
it
just
remastered, or
yeah,
is it just like a port where it's gonna look like I'm playing on a regular Nintendo?
I mean, it looks still. I'm looking at the video. It's pixelated, but it's clean up.
I'm sure it'll like be smoother and stuff.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
definitely got to be a remaster. Just looking at it, it does not. It's not a one for one. So it's actually coming up also on the PC. It says.
That's badass. That gets me excited.
Beat 'em up
for
game,
sure.
unspecified consoles. Yeah. So either way, looking forward to that. You can have Donatello. I will have Michelangelo.
I knew you would be a Michelangelo.
If that surprises you at all.
No, not at all. Like, really doesn't. Raphael would have been a close second, just for the temper standpoint, but Michelangelo makes 100% sense.
Yeah, no, Michelangelo is my guy. So I will take him. You can have Donatello. And we will definitely be streaming that for sure. That's like one where I'll come over and we can play on the couch, and like that one we have to play in person. Got to kick it old school. Can't do it on just the interwebs.
I'll give away the kiddo for a few days and we'll just grind it out.
100%. 100%. Anyways, that will do it for this episode of The Center Ring, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast presented by Alt. And thank you again to Philly Esports for sponsoring eNews. Their tournament is this weekend again. Check it out, phillyesports.net. Sign up is free. Win some money. That's it for a week. We will be on vacation. That doesn't mean we're untouchable, though. You can still get to us on Twitter at The Center Ring, and our Discord is in the link there. Obviously, just because we're on vacation doesn't mean we stop watching esports, so you can still be a part of the conversation in the Discord. We will be back. I will be back at least on the 25th, for sure. I might do a show on Sunday if I am packed in orderly fashion. 99% chance, though, that's not the case. So I wouldn't bank on it. Though I might still tell my wife that I'm doing a show so I can get on and play some games. So maybe we can have a game night. Who knows? Hit me up in Discord if you want to play something. Maybe I'll play League of Legends, finally. But that's it. It's vacation time. So everyone, have a good time. Enjoy some reruns. Enjoy the website. Enjoy YouTube. Do whatever you got to do. But we'll talk to you in a week for a new... I'm Tim. Love you. Boom. All right. Anyone in chat, love your face. I'm going to end the stream, though, just so we can get to start to edit this and officially start vacay from the show anyways.
I fucked up and I didn't want to correct you on the show because you'd already said it multiple times. We leave Monday morning, not Sunday morning. So I'm technically here Sunday
Oh,
night.
you do leave Sunday or Monday.
Yeah, we come it's Monday to Monday.
Oh, so I thought it was Sunday to Sunday.
I thought it was Sunday to Sunday too. So we're Monday to Monday, but she wants me to be available to have her on Sunday night. So I don't know if I would be able to do a show anyway now.
Well, if we just happen to be doing absolutely nothing, I guess we could do a show.
Then we can hop on and do it. But she's like, we have so much to do still. And she works a 24 on Thursday tomorrow and a 24 on Saturday. So she's like, Sunday is going to be like final prep day. So